I need more long weekends with friends. But I also spent way too much money. So maybe not? Hi, and welcome to Quilt Meets World, where we have adventures in piecing and joy. I'm Russ. Come on into my sewing room. It was an exciting week. I got a lot done, and I got a lot not done. I was off Thursday and Friday, which was very exciting because a friend of mine came into town. But it also meant that I can handle some errands that I needed to get checked off my list for a while. The first errand that I needed to do was get my passport again. Back in 2007, I had gotten my passport because it's a lot easier than some of the other issues. Because passport trumps everything. And I accidentally let it expire, and then I accidentally let it expire too long, which meant I had to basically apply from scratch again. I had gotten everything together. I was going through the checklist, checked everything off, so I was ready. And I had an appointment on Thursday at 8:45 a.m. at the local post office to get my passport application submitted and my photo taken because I didn't have a photo printed and everything. Plus, I want to make sure the photo was exactly right. I do not want to risk something being rejected because, oh, you sent a wrong photo or a bad photo. The first thing I did is I got there at 8:30. I got there a little bit early because it says arrive early, and I like to be conscientious of people's time. And I'm talking to the guy, and he was kind of funny, like hysterical. And I handed him the packet of everything, and the first thing he says is, "This is the wrong amount." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You included the post office fee in that, and not just the passport application fee." I was like, "I swear I read something that." Anyway, I trust him, and of course, I did not have my checkbook on me. He asked if I had a debit card on me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you can sell me a money order." No, I don't have my debit card on me. I did have it on my phone, but I didn't even ask if processing it on the phone would work because, I'm sure to process it, I'm sure they need to process it as a debit, and that means entering the PIN and everything. And I did not want to mess up anything of his and everything because he was already in a good mood. I didn't need to ruin it. So I was like, okay. And he's also fiddling through the rest of the paperwork, make sure I have everything else. And he makes a comment that my birth certificate doesn't look right. And I had to give him a little bit of a story that, when I moved to Georgia, I had my original birth certificate with the seal and everything. And Georgia would not accept it because it wasn't in English. I was born in an Air Force base overseas, and the primary primary language on the birth certificate was German because it was Germany where I was born. But it also had Spanish, French, Italian, English, Portuguese, and probably a few other languages on it. I could go look, but my birth certificate file is in the other room right now. And Georgia wanted me to spend like $250 to get it translated. I'm like, really? No. So I called my grandmother and said, "Hey, can you get me a copy of my birth certificate and send it from City Hall and send it to me?" She did that. This was back in like 2001 or something like that. So when it got to me, I was like, this looks very not official. It was basically, a standard piece of paper with it filled in of my name, when I was born, all that other stuff, and it had the seal on it. So I guess the seal is really what makes anything official. That's fine. So I told them that story, and I said, back when I had initially applied for my passport, they accepted this. They used this as my form of identification and everything. So he's like, well, if it worked back then, it should be working fine. The seal is getting a little low. So I know next time I'm up in Massachusetts, I need to get me a couple more birth certificates. I guess the humidity here kind of messes with the seal because there was no pressure on these documents. It's just the humidity making everything up there. But anyway, I asked him, I said, hey, can I run home and back and get this done, or do I need to make another appointment? Because I understand I made the mistake. It's all on me. And he's like, well, how far do you live? I was like, it's probably going to take me 20 minutes to get there and back because of where I live. And he goes, maybe. I was like, okay. And I said, if I come back and there's people here and it's too much of a wait, it's my fault. I don't care. It's not a big deal. So I ran home, ran back, and I got there about I think it was like 8:53 or so. So I was like, can I not? He's like, should I? I was like, it's your choice. Like I said, it's all my fault. It's all on you. So he took me. He went through all my paperwork and everything. He got my picture taken. I lost it taking the picture because he's like, you could do a little bit of a smirk, but no teeth. And, I'm trying to do that, natural, like slight smirk and everything. And I just kept laughing, kept laughing, kept laughing. He did finally get the picture in there. And as I am checking out with everything, the next appointment arrived, and I was out of there at like 9:03. So it really only took 10 minutes for my 15-minute appointment. And, I was early and also late, but it was crazy. I came home and I needed to do a little bit of house cleaning and stuff because David was coming into town Thursday evening. So, I start cleaning. I'm like, I want music. And, I could be listening to Sirius XM, but I was like, I've got a couple new CDs that I had recently purchased that I hadn't really listened to yet. So I'm playing them through my smart speaker. And for some reason, my router keeps rebooting. And every time that it reboots, the music stops. And then, when everything stops and everything comes back up, I have to take a few minutes to get myself back playing and connected to the speaker and connected. And this kept going on and on and on. And I was like, I'm just frustrated with this. I just shut everything down and said, whatever, I'm not listening to music. And got the rest of everything that I needed cleaned. I think by the time that I gave up on it, my router decided to be stable. Either way, it was done. I grabbed dinner, and we're just chilling on the couch. I missed a call from David because my phone goes on silent at like 9 o'clock at night, and he initially was expecting to be there by 9. I was like, you won't be here until like 9:45 because traffic and getting your rental car and everything. It was like 9:30 or 9:40 that he actually arrived. It was kind of amusing because he used to be my roommate. He has codes to the garage and everything, so he was able to get in without being prompted or anything. Riley is laying in her bed just a snoring. So he opened up the garage door. Nothing. He starts closing the garage door, opens up the kitchen door. Nothing. The moment he closed the kitchen door, she heard him, and she gets up, starts barking ferociously like a guard dog, goes right up to him and is barking, tail wagging like this, like, okay, I'm trying to be a guard dog, but also, hi friend. It was hysterical. And basically throughout the entire weekend, every time that David would get up, she would bark at him. I guess she just, forgot that he was there, or was just upset that whatever it was hysterical the entire time. But I had a great time with David in town. On Friday, which, we're already this far in, I'm only getting to Friday. I got up early, like I normally do. I dropped Riley off at doggy daycare, came home, got showered. David was showered and everything. And we decided to go have breakfast at Waffle House. It's one of our favorite places to eat breakfast because it's, just like their motto says, good food fast. And it was, really good food. He did have to say, the cook is going to complain when you put in my order, but they'll get over it because he likes his sandwich with scrambled cheese eggs instead of scrambled eggs with cheese on top. Trust me, there is a complete difference in flavor. I understand this. So we had breakfast and we looked at our clock and everything, and he's like, I need to go to Walmart because I need some deodorant. And he had no idea how he ran out and stuff because he usually keeps it back up. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll go to Walmart. And we go to the Walmart and he's like, do you need anything? I was like, I know I have a list, but I have no idea what's on it. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. As if we wouldn't be back at Walmart later for whatever reasons. After that, we went and got our nails did. We both, well, he said he really needed a pedicure, and I was kind of due. I was a little upset that I didn't get my normal lady, but if I really want her, I need to start scheduling appointments and that with her just to make sure I get her because, like, everybody is pretty good there, but she does my feet the best. Like, like one person can be really good for one person, another person can be really good for another, and I just love the way that she's able to dig in and get my calluses out of the way, where she enjoys tickling me. But either way, it was still a decent pedicure and everything, and it was great just to sit there, relax for however long we were there. When we left, we decided that we wanted to go to Threadbare, which is a local shop here, but it's up and coming, so it's not quite as local to me, but it's 45 minutes away. They have everything just about. If you're looking for some of the older stuff, they probably have it. If you're looking for some newer stuff, they probably have it. It's incredible just the amount of fabrics that they have in their storefronts, and if you can't find it there, it may not exist. No, well, I can't say that, but they have a ton of stuff. You will get claustrophobic going in there. Their website, they have everything on their website. It's not as great, but it is only because it's difficult to navigate. If you don't know what you're looking for, it's hard to find things. Unlike some of the other sites where you can start browsing by this and you can fill. Yeah. So either way, I spent a little bit of dollars there. I will show you later what I got, but needless to say, I have some excitement in here. After that, we went to Costco because David said that I needed new towels. When I did my bathroom remodel last year, I got Better Homes and Garden towels from Walmart. And I was like, yeah, they're decent. I mean, they work very well for me. But he's like, these Costco towels will be a lot better. I'm like, okay, if you insist. So got some towels. Also got a big container of M&Ms because we're addicted. And just going through saying, is there anything else I need? And I was like, I think I need some fabric softener, but they didn't have a decent scent fabric softener for me. My nose is a little picky. It's fine. And while we were up there, I was like, I just remembered what I needed from Walmart, and I needed to get some kitty litter, and I needed the carpet rug resolve spray. That's what it is. And they don't have the specific kitty litter that I need, and I didn't see any Resolve at Costco. So it's like, okay, whatever. It's not like we're not going to make it to Walmart again. After that, we came home, and David started playing on the long arm. He asked before he came if he could put a couple quilts on the long arm because he had to get a couple of them done. I was like, of course. I knew that he knew what he was doing. Foreshadow. And I was like, yeah, you've worked on these and everything, so I'm comfortable letting you play with, my long arm. He starts getting everything loaded. And when it's time for me to leave, I run to the chiropractor and then go get Riley. When I came home, David was on the phone with work and very annoyed at everything because why is work calling him on his vacation? And he makes the comment to me, he's like, I did something wrong and I don't know how to fix it easily right now. And he's like, I'm sure I can figure it out, but you probably know immediately. And I looked at it, I was like, well, what'd you do? And he goes, it didn't advance. And I was like, okay, I know exactly what you did, but Mike and Laura are going to be coming for dinner because we were going to go up the street to one of the burger places and get dinner and talk with them and everything. So I was like, I'll figure it out when we get back. So we had a great dinner. And then when I got back, I worked on getting them back on track. And I was like, okay, I don't know what you did, but why are there all these grid lines here? And he goes, oh, I know what button that is. And he turned off the grid lines. I was like, oh, I see what you did. When you went to advance it, you accidentally hit grid lines instead of hitting the drag button because you were on the phone and work was annoying you. So when you dragged it, you didn't drag. I got him lined back up and everything, and he got the rest of that quilt quilted without a hitch. After everything was silenced and everything, because the long arm is basically in the same room as the living room. I have an inset dining area, and that's where the long arm is. When everything quieted down, we just watched TV for the rest of the night. And again, Riley was, making herself known every single time that David moved. Saturday, it was a great day. Got Riley around and everything. And it was a little early, so we decided to have breakfast before Saturday Sampler. One of the dates that he decided to pick is simply because it was Saturday Sampler weekend. So we went to Chick-fil-A and we decided to go to the Chick-fil-A by the quilt shop just so that we knew whenever we leave, we only have like 3 minutes to get across the street and we're not going to miss anything if there's like traffic or if we hit some lights or something. So that was pretty good to have Chick-fil-A for breakfast. As we know, that's one of my favorites. We went to Saturday Sampler, and I did not have anything for show and tell because I did not get things on the long arm. Just because it's been a month and everything, and I wanted to get something done on Thursday, but because I had my chores taking precedence over long arm, whatever, I wasn't worried. And people were trying to mock me, and I was like, I had 3 show and tells last month. You cannot make any comments about this. Picked up my next block, and everything was good. We came home, and I had just enough time to get a little bit of prep work done before my 11sies. I went live, and if you haven't seen that video, it was a fun video. I was working on the Fort Worth Fabric Studio, for the most part, quilt. It was week 5, which is putting everything together. I think I mentioned last week that I was great in guessing at what was going on. I had done a little bit of pre-work just to get a couple of rows put together. And as we were having, some fun chit-chatting conversations, talking about everything, I managed to get basically the entire center of the quilt done. It was great. It was exciting. I can actually say, I got the whole center done during a live. All that needs to go on, excuse me, is uh, the inner border and outer border, which I have to get pieced and get those on. But that shouldn't take me too long because once they're cut, they will go on quickly, just zoom zoom. That was pretty exciting. When I was done, I was like, why am I still hearing the long arm? Or maybe I wasn't hearing the long arm. Either way, when I get out there, David is just completely annoyed at the quilt. He was having a few issues, a few oddities. He had a couple thread breaks and stuff. And I was like, I told you last night that we needed to change the needle probably because the needle has been on for a couple projects. I'm supposed to really change them after every single project, but I noticed that I can get 2, maybe 3 quilts out of it before it starts acting up. And he's like, well, we'll worry about it later. We'll just leave everything on and go out and run our errands and get lunch. One of the big errands that I had asked him if we can do is to go to Lazy Boy because I need a new couch at some point. The couch that I have, I purchased 3 years ago. And like when I was in the showroom at the store, which I'm not going to tell you, I'll just give you the clues that, it starts with an A and rhymes with Ashley. When I was in the store, loved the couch. It sat well. The look of it is perfect. The color is great. Like everything about the couch I loved in the showroom. When it got delivered, it did not seat anything like it did in the showroom. It like everything was sagging. Every time that I would get in the seat, I was very uncomfortable. I had them come out several times. I'm probably at like the 12 or 13 count or whatever. And they kept trying things, and I think at the last thing they ended up replacing I think they call it a trampoline, but nothing worked. I think part of the issue is that couch did not have a spring system. It was basically based on taut, I guess they call it the trampoline. And there was some sort of a problem with that. And even when they did the replacement, I don't think they replaced it exactly right. Because when I sit in the couch, I'm leaning a little to the side. And I know this is a little exaggerating, but this is how I feel. My chiropractor would really appreciate it if I had a couch that did not have me thinking that I wanted to gate. I was looking around and I had a wonderful salesperson. Like she was sweet, awesome, and hysterical to boot at times. And like we're showing things. Like I really loved the first couch that she showed me. And as we're going through and everything, I'm like, okay, I don't like this. I don't like this. There's a few things that I could not articulate that I didn't like. And then the last couch that she showed me, I was like, I love the way that this looks and everything. So it's going to be between this couch and the first couch. And when I got back to the first couch, I was like, okay, so not really liking the first couch because of this reason. So I think I'm going to go with that last couch. But I need to think about it. I need to make sure that my finances are in order. Just can you get me a quote and everything? And we will go through and figure it out. And she wrote me up for that couch, for the leather style that I'm getting. Yeah, I'm getting a leather couch. I'm kind of excited. And it's got the remote for it, and like lumbar support and everything, and I could hit on the remote like my favorite buttons to say, if I want number 1 maybe is a watching TV position to get me in a proper relax mode for that, and maybe number 2 is I'm Okay, I would only be watching TV. Maybe it's, watching more relaxing TV. I don't know. So that's what I kind of decided on. She gave me the price. I'm like, okay, I really got to think about this because it was a little bit more than I had anticipated. And honestly, that most of that price was because of the leather. But I was like, we need to go get lunch. I need to figure it out. We'll be back tomorrow. We ended up going to lunch across the street at Whataburger. It's a new location in the area, and it was very delicious. I forget what burger I had, but it was definitely the first. I'm going to call it a fast food burger. It was the best fast food burger that I have had in a long, long, long time. It had a sauce on there. It was kind of like sweet and spicy. It was a good amount. More beef than I probably needed because I'm not really a beef eater, but it was worth every second of it. And then after lunch, we went to Walmart because we're like, oh, yeah, I remembered the stuff that I needed. So I grabbed the litter and a few other things. And then we came home, and David was like, okay, I'm going to get back on the quilt. He had a couple other minor user error problems. And uh, once we really figured out what was going on, it was mostly, okay, he decided that it was time to change the needle. We changed the needle. And then it was continuing to shred. And I'm like, did you put the needle in right? He's like, well, you can only do it one way. I was like, this is not a standard sewing machine needle. It's got multiple ways. So we figured out what was wrong. We got the needle put in correctly, and everything went smooth after that. So even though that is a machine that has always given David heck, we got him through it, and he managed to get both of his quilts done. Dinner on Saturday night was at a local Japanese place that we love. It's always so good, and I ended up getting one of my favorites that doesn't tend to work well to go. When you get some to go stuff, things kind of steam in the container, and when you want something crispy, you don't want it to be steamed. So everything was just so good. I also They had signs in there a few weeks ago when I went that they had buffalo chicken egg rolls, and I was like, that sounds interesting. And I ordered it, and it was kind of interesting. It was buffalo chicken and cream cheese in there. There really wasn't any vegetables, so it felt a little heavier. Tasted pretty good, but I probably prefer the regular egg rolls over that. After that, we ended up stopping at Petco because Riley, when she gets excited and everything, she forgets to eat. So we're like, I wonder if there's any gravy that might convince her to eat. Although she did eat a handful of bites before we went to dinner, so I wasn't as concerned. But we're like, sure, we'll find it. We were there, and we found some gravies that I'm going to try. And then David saw the little ice creams for puppies, and he's like, I'm going to get her one. I was like, okay. So he initially found one over in one section, and then he found a Ben and Jerry's near the register. So he put the other one back, and he said, I'm going to get her the Ben and Jerry's. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. The important thing is, made sure that it was the pumpkin, because pumpkin is a little better on her stomach than some of the other things, especially when she's trying new things. We got home, and I'm like, okay, Riley, Uncle David got you a little like pup cup thing, and we give it to her. She loved that to pieces. I put a little bit of a YouTube short out there, and so if you want to see a puppy loving ice cream, go look at that. After that, we ended up watching some Mrs. Brown's Boys. That's something that it's basically David and my thing, and he hadn't had a chance to watch anything since the last time he was here. So we're like, okay, where did you leave off? And he goes, okay, I remember this. I don't remember this. So that's when we started. We got a few episodes done that night, and we're like, okay, we're done. Sunday, it was a bit of a, we tried to keep it calm day. We decided to do breakfast at the new IHOP in the area. They converted a Hardee's over into an IHOP. It was very tiny. Was not really happy. They didn't increase any space of the dining room, so they shoved how many IHOP tables in there when there would, normally be a little bit more space from, the fast food place. It definitely was not worth the price we paid. We definitely should have gone to Waffle House again for breakfast or maybe somewhere else. We needed to go to Walmart for something else for David, and I, for the life of me, can't remember what he wanted, but he also wanted to look at, some Pioneer Woman stuff because they don't have that where he's living right now. And we grabbed a few things, and we're like, we still have time to waste, so we ended up going to Joann's just to browse. He found some fabric that he wanted for a table runner, and the stuff that he's got and everything looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. When Lazy Boy opened up, like we were there waiting outside for them to unlock the doors, and we went in and said, "Okay, I'm ready to make the purchase." She told me the amount, and I was like, "Make sure you tell me the amount one time because I don't want to hear that twice. I just want to have my app open, transfer that money, and then you can run my debit card." So I got the amount transferred. She ran it, and then she's like, yeah, this is saying it's declined. I was like, what do you mean decline? You saw me transfer the money. And I was like, oh, wait, it's probably one of those daily limit things. So I had the app open. I was like, I can't find where to set it. So I just called the bank real quick and said, hey, um, can you up my limit just for today and everything? And, lady was wonderful. I think this is the first time in like almost 20 years that I've had that bank account that I've had to call the bank. And she goes, yeah, you can do this online and stuff. I was like, yeah, I couldn't find it online. Little did I see when I got home that I had an email saying, hey, look, your card was declined. You click this button and we can take you directly to increase your limit for this transaction if you want to. So I was like, whatever, got it done. And in 6 to 9 weeks, I will have a much better couch. My salesperson, she just said, hey, this is the process. You're going to get this update, this update, this update, and then you can either call us a schedule or you can do it all online, whatever's easier for you. I was like, okay, that is awesome. I will figure it out. On the way home, we ended up having to stop at the FedEx store so David could ship all of his stuff home. He spent a pretty penny. He had his two quilts that he had quilted. He had his couple things that he had purchased at Walmart. He had this haul that he had bought at Threadbare. And I think he had a couple other things. Oh, he had bought some stuff at Tiny Stitches. So he had quite a few things that he needed to ship home. So he managed to get the FedEx folks to pack up his stuff and send it home. We came home and finished the last two episodes of Mrs. Brown's Boys that he hadn't seen. So we are, together completely caught up. I had mostly remembered those episodes, but because they're newer episodes and I've only seen them like twice, I was like, okay, they're kind of fresh to me. Now, for some of the older episodes, I almost know those by heart. We ended up getting pub subs from Publix for lunch. It was like kind of like a late lunch. And we were like, okay, what are we going to watch? Because we got to figure out what to do. We started to go for one movie, and David made a comment. I was like, okay, no, we are going to watch this other movie. So I backed out and I went to Joyful Noise. And, it's one of those great movies that is just really awesome. And loved it to pieces. Jeremy Jordan, totally adorable, still in there. And the only thing that kind of annoys me about the movie is just so many of those I'm going to call it typical Southern sayings. It seems like every scene had one of those. I'm like, okay, this is going to get old very fast. I do know that like there's a restaurant in there that is not far from where I live. We should probably look that up for next time that David's in town and just go and say, okay, this is where that happened there. He ended up leaving in the evening, and it was at that point that I said, okay, I need to go get gas. I need to get some grocery shopping done and everything else just so that, I can be ready for the work week. And, already this week, it's just been one of those quiet but crazy weeks at work. It's what it is. But yeah, it's been such a fun weekend. I really want to have this again. What did I buy at Threadbare? I spent quite a bit of dollars. Not as much as I spent at Lazy Boy, but I was like, yeah, I spent too much. The first thing that I bought, and I'm seeing if I can get into, like, take plastic off, is this fat quarter bundle. It is called Fluidity, and it's got a whole bunch of are they batik? No, they're prints, but they kind of have that batik look. I'm not pulling this apart because I will never get them back together, but those are all the fabrics in there. I think it's 20 20 fat quarters in here. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this. I think it's going to be really nice in, something that has like a bit of a water feel. Pre-cuts were on sale, so that was on sale. I think it was like 20% off. And then I got this fat quarter bundle, Fiesta from me and my sister's designs. It has a lot of fun prints. Again, I'm not pulling this apart because I will never get it back together. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this one either. Uh, but just the bright, cheery colors. I was like, I will find something to do. I don't care. While we were there are two different shop, or there's actually three different storefronts. One of them they call Janet's side, one of them they call Randy's side, and then now they have the Thread side. So when I was on Randy's side, I saw this really fun print panel that I was like, I really need it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need it. And it's these puppy dogs that are just very happy and psychedelic. Don't know what I'm going to do, but it is, in my collection now, and I will find something. There was this orange print that I was like, I love this color. It is a great color. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. Then I found this panel as we were looking at some other fabrics and said, I kind of need it. It is called Cat Library or something like that. It, again, looks fun. Don't know how I'm going to put it together, but I will put it together. I found this orange or dark orange paw prints, and I was like, this would be a really cool binding of a puppy or kitty quilt. Then I found this just really cute kitty cat fabric, and I was like, I don't know why I want it, but I want it. I went on a kitty and puppy thing, apparently, just looking at everything. Got this kitty cat fabric, which just loads of fun. And I also got it in red. So hopefully I will find something to showcase off those prints. And then I did tell you I got kitty cat fabric. This was really fun. I was like, I again don't know what I'm doing. I got a couple yards for each of those. Then there's the fabric that I really said I was going to buy. If you're part of my sewing shenanigans sew day on Zoom a week and a half ago, the group was talking about this one fabric, and it was like kitties with coffee or something like that. I don't really remember. And I was like, well, I want to see this. And I just went searching and I found this fabric. And I was like, well, Threadbare has it if anybody is interested. Nobody apparently bought it, any of it, because I bought all that was left. And I joked, I was like, she didn't have to cut it, so it's technically pre-cut. So it's this fabric. I think this is the most hysterical fabric out there. Again, don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have a few many ideas. So we will find out what I will do with this. I'm very excited and can't wait to figure out what I'm going to do. But wait, there's more. I did find a book and a couple patterns. I ended up getting this Go Bold with 3-Yard Quilts book, which has these handful of designs in it. I'm like, well, maybe I can come up with something fun to do with some fabric. These look like a lot of fun, and I'm kind of being drawn to this one, but I think that's because of the colors in there. So we will see what I end up doing with that. And in the pattern section, I found a couple of these sampler patterns. And I was like, I think these would be pretty fun to kit up. The first one, and I'm going to pull the title page out of the plastic because otherwise you won't be able to read it, is called, if it'll come out, oh, is it? I have to pull the entire pattern out. Okay, at least I know that now. It's called Yuletide Sampler 2. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to do. It's got 16 different fabrics, including the backing, or not backing, background. And as you see, it's going to be an 80 by 92 quilt. Like, it looks like it's a lot of fun, and I am kind of excited, although now that I'm just skimming through, there's some templates that I'm like, well, maybe not. They'll be easy. I'll figure it out. And this other pattern that I found, and again, I got to pull it out of the plastic, and now that I know how to pull it out of the plastic, it shouldn't take me as long, is called the Secret Garden Sampler. This one also is 15 different fabrics. They're from the same designer and everything. They look kind of similar, but I see that there are a whole bunch of different blocks. I have heard a rumor that there is a fabric line coming out in April from one of my favorite fabric designers that would look gorgeous in this in this pattern. So I am very excited about that. As soon as I see more about the details of that fabric, I'm going to see if I can, start drawing it up, coloring and everything, and deciding if I'm going to do it in that fabric or not. I think I am. And then hopefully I may be able to do it as a little bit of a sew along. I have seen the pattern available on other websites and everything, so it's not like, people can't find it. But I am just very excited to be able to do that. So that will be something that'll probably happen maybe summertime, because I've got a lot to do between now and May. As if this video isn't long enough, let's figure out what kind of goals I need to have for this week. I have 2 things that must get done this weekend, and that's all on my list. The first is for my live this Saturday, I have to cut some fabric. I need to make sure that I'm fully ready, have everything up and all that. The card for my live should be up shortly, so I just got to get a couple of details settled out, and we will be going live with that card. The second thing I need to do is I need to get a video recorded and prepped for next week to be going out. I'm not going to tell you much about it, but it was a fun project to do. Besides those 2, I do have borders on a few quilts that are on my list to get done. And, at some point I need to get more time on the long arm. There's just not enough hours in the day. Anywho, I think that is going to be about it for today. I apologize that it was a really long one, but I hope you were a little bit entertained with all the shenanigans that David and I got up to this weekend. If you wouldn't mind doing the things for the YouTube algorithm that it likes, that would be awesome. It is things such as, liking the video, subscribing, commenting, sharing the video, or, even eating a York peppermint patty. Taste the sensation. Just be careful if you get transported to the top of the Himalayas like they showed in the commercials in the 90s. That could be a little dangerous. Ringing the bell icon next to the subscribe button gets you notified when I go live on Saturday mornings and upload any other videos throughout the week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and an awesome week. Until next time, stay happy and keep stitching.